Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing a sort of troubleshoot reading on your relationship, the future of your relationship. So this will be intuitive, feel free to follow along, use your own intuition, it's your relationship. So I'm going to be first asking what the energies surrounding your relationship are. Strength in reverse. I'm going to aspect that quickly. Why have we pulled the strength in reverse? The Fool. Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay, so I'll read this in a minute. I'll pull the other cards first. What areas need more attention in this relationship? What is not seeing enough in this relationship? The Hierophant. I'm going to quickly aspect the Hierophant. May we have the energies for the growth in the relationship? The Four of Swords. And we have the areas of conflict, or the primary focus of conflict or tension in the relationship. Moon in reverse. And then the last card. I'm going to pull the most likely outcome at the end. I'm going to aspect that moon. I'm going to pull the last card after we've read these and been through them. So we'll start with the strength in reverse. That's a sign of not a physical weakness, but perhaps of mental or emotional weakness, or giving up, or feeling defeated or worn out. Just not being able to continue with something. For some of you it might be like psychological games or a bit of an argument. Here though, the Nine of Wands in reverse is a sign of giving up, of being exhausted, of a lack of stamina, of your energies just falling, and you sort of can't keep up anymore. You can't stand up with this. It definitely feels like there's a disagreement in the relationship. With the Fool, I'm going to aspect that because it's such an important card. It's often a sign of being very carefree, light-hearted. It feels like for one of you in the relationship, one of you is very light-hearted and sort of easygoing, perhaps to the point of being childish. And that's aspected with the Ten of Wands, which is defeat. It's quite a great defeat. It's being completely worn out by something. The Nine of Wands in reverse is also getting past a period of depression or anxiety. It feels like one of you in the relationship is perhaps, I don't want to say childish, but maybe a little bit more immature, a little bit easier going than the other one. I feel like one of you is putting a lot of work in and taking a lot of responsibility and taking things seriously, while the other one of you perhaps isn't. Maybe someone else. For some of you, I'm getting sort of an energy in my head just popping in, a vision of someone sitting playing games all day, someone perhaps lounging around saying, oh, it doesn't matter, oh, what about the future, let's just see how things are. Someone who isn't necessarily contributing as much as they should or could. What areas need more attention? We pulled the Hierophant, which is a very traditional card. For some it's very religious. It's about having clear boundaries and rule, regulation. It is quite often about tradition when we're talking about this relationship. And we're looking at the Ace of Pentacles in reverse with the Page of Pentacles. I call this the new job card. This is definitely, there's a financial disagreement. It could be that one of you is perhaps unemployed and not looking for work or not taking it seriously, and the other one of you wants work or is working and providing a lot for the family, and it's costing you a lot. Perhaps one of you is burdened by the money or the finance or the job and the other one isn't. It could be that one of you is looking or not looking for the job that you need to, and and you're sort of saying, or one of you saying, you need to do this, we're not going to be able to pay the bills, we can't keep up the mortgage, or we're not going to be able to go anywhere, or why am I paying for everything? There's a sense of responsibility in this as well, which is, it definitely feels quite important. Then for where you have room for growth is the Four of Swords. It's kind of a type of rest and relaxation. It's putting yourself in like a meditative state. There's room for growth in the sense of perhaps trying to sit back and understand each other and communicate this through, taking time out. It's an intellectual and communication type of thing, usually with the sword cards. Very air sign energy. And the possible area of conflict was the Moon in reverse. That's illusions unveiled, that's secrets revealed. I feel like something's come out. The area of conflict is one of you has perhaps shown your true colours, or one of you has been deceitful in some way and you found out about it, and you're struggling to get over it, there's definitely a lot of material loss. For some it could be your home, it could just be a job, finance, and for others of you it could actually be the relationship itself that's falling apart and you're not able to move on from this. You've taken a pretty hefty loss. Often with the Pentacles Earth sign, it's often materialism, money. It can mean other things, but it does feel like there's been sort of a financial trouble. You've learned something, perhaps for some of you, the person you're with was sort of, I have a big job, I have lots of money, I can do this and that, and you've found out that that's not the truth. The Sun in reverse is quite an unhappy card as well. I'm going to aspect that quickly. King of Wands in reverse. That can be someone who's a bit of a dictator and someone who isn't taking the leadership role that they need to. Someone who's being sort of throwing their weight around a little bit. Temperance is about equality. I feel like you're unhappy because there's a lack of balance and equality and fairness in the relationship. Temperance can often be considered Aquarius card because Aquarius is a sign of humanitarianism, of fairness, of intellect, of equality. That's often what a lot of them seek. And people with Aquarius moons too. I feel like you're looking for an equality, especially in terms of being taken seriously and in terms of finance in this relationship, that this other person isn't taking it seriously. They're mouthing off and you're perhaps you're getting a little bit over the top with it, because temperance is important. We have to aspect the Emperor. That's great stability, that's provision of wealth. And Ten of Wands is not giving up. I feel like you don't want to give up on this relationship, and I feel like it's you that's sort of hard carrying this a little bit. I feel like you're putting a lot of energy and work into this relationship and you're not getting everything out of it. I feel like you went into this hoping it was something more. The Eight of Wands in reverse is a case of running out of energy. It's still a high energy card, but it's misdirected now. It's a loss of it. It can also, for some of you, mean you've just completely collapsed. The burden there, you're bearing it, but it's exhausting you. I feel like you're taking more responsibility for this relationship than the other person is. You're taking it seriously, whereas they aren't. I feel like you're hoping for more money. You're perhaps losing money, or perhaps they are in this. For some of you it feels long term, others of you it doesn't necessarily feel like a marriage. It just feels like you aren't getting what you want at the moment. So, and then we're going to look at the final outcome. I said I would pull that one last, the most likely one. Queen of Cups in reverse. That's a card of great unhappiness. That's a Cancerian card. That's water. That can be selfishness. That can be cruelty. That can be... It can just become a very severe introversion, a lack of nurturing. The most likely outcome is that this relationship could end unhappily. One of you is feeling sort of neglected, or perhaps you'll feel that the other person is selfish. For this, there could be a balanced aspect. They could think you're being selfish and too strict and you're being this horrible person, whereas you could perhaps also think this person is the selfish one. There's definitely an aspect between the two of you of imbalance, of unhappiness, and it feels primarily on your side. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next reading.